Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're just going to do a quick guide for all three of the bosses that you can get during the rotation of Lower Karazhan's Opera Hall event. We're just going to go through with Beautiful Beast to start off with, which is derived from Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, we'll just jump right into it. No need for any other commentary. So let's go with Beauty and the Beast. We're going to start off with this boss. All you need to really know is an order to kill these bosses in. So there are 4 bosses when you start off. There's going to be Luminor, Miss Cauldrons, Bablet, and Coggleston, as you can see. So the standard order that you usually want to kill it in is Bablet first, then Luminor, then Cauldrons, then Coggleston. The reason being is because Bablet's probably one of the most annoying to deal with, because Bablet continuously targets a player and will keep chasing them. If you don't run away from them, Bablet will just keep doing heavy damage to it. And if you take Bablet through the fire that gets spawned on the ground during the dungeon, it will increase the speed of Bablet. So you want to make sure the main thing here is do not kite Bablet through the fire. And if you get the soup spray debuff from Cauldrons, you're running through the fire as a player. The soup spray debuff will remove the fire off the ground. So just make sure you're nuking down Bablet first. Now you're saving Lust over here for Coggleston when it comes up. You don't want to be lusting on Pull because Coggleston is a pretty much DPS check. It does hurt a lot. So you want to be able to nuke down Coggleston as fast as possible. This is all Bablet does, is just severe dusting. Now while this is happening, you can see that Miss Cauldrons is continuously doing an ability called Soup Spray, as well as Luminor is continuously doing an ability called, what's it called? I'm just waiting for it to cast. Called Burning Blaze, sorry, there you go. It was doing the other ability called Heat Wave. So you've got Miss Cauldrons and you've got Luminor, and they both do 2 different abilities, right? So Soup Spray, Burning Blaze are the standard abilities that they're just going to continuously cast. And then you've got Luminor's ability, which is Heat Wave, which needs to be interrupted immediately. Do not even let it get a tick off. So you want to usually assign someone to that ability. Usually I do it because I'm the tank, but if you can't, then have like a ranged DPS do it maybe, just in case a melee DPS is getting targeted by Bablet. So after Bablet is dead, you're immediately swapping to Luminor. Now, Miss Cauldron is going to do another ability called Leftovers as well, which is going to do a massive AoE around the boss. You just want to make sure you're not standing in it and try to interrupt it. Pretty important. So what happens every time when a boss dies, the rest of them will get buffed. So periodically throughout the fight, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. This is probably the hardest part of it because there's 2 of these bosses now up and they're both casting things at the same time. So here you just want to be, again, 1 person on each of the main abilities, so Leftovers and Heat Wave, and then the rest of the interrupts can go on Burning Blaze and just deal with the extra damage coming out. The healing check in this fight is quite high, especially on the Tyrannical, so just be very, very, very careful here. Now again, there's fire periodically on the ground. Soup Spray debuffers will be running through the fire. We're going to kill Luminor, and then we're going to go on to Mrs. Cauldron, sorry, after Luminor is dead. And as you can see, this entire time, Coggleston is not doing anything. He's just chilling. Coggleston is just chilling with a shield on. You can't do any damage as well. And remember, all these bosses heal as soon as one of the bosses die, so there is no need for cleave. You just want to single target focus one of the bosses immediately. Now there are many ways you can deal with the boss in terms of like order. This is just the safest way to do it and the most practical. You can leave Bablet till second last if you want to nuke out one of the interrupting mobs away first. Just remember that you will have to be kiting Bablet the entire time, so it might get a little annoying if you have a full group of melee and everyone's just running around chasing the boss. Now at this point in time, as you can see, the shield is still on Coggleston, so you don't pop your cooldown straight away. You want to make sure that the shield is done. As soon as the shield's done, you're going to pop your cooldowns, you're going to lust. Now for some reason, as you saw, I had aggro of Coggleston and it just randomly killed our hunter for some reason, which didn't really make any sense because I was closest to the boss, but it happened, so we have to be here as a hunter, unfortunately. And these silver forks will periodically come out. You just want to make sure you nuke them down. Adds over boss, as always, never changes. always adds over boss. It's also going to do Dinner Bell, which is an interrupt that you want to make sure you interrupt, otherwise everything gets buffed, including the boss. And Dent Armor, which is an ability that you need to use a defensive on the tank, because you will take increased damage over time. There's this bleed as well over here that periodically gets put onto people. It does hurt quite a bit. As you can see, our hunters have that bleed at the moment. The higher Tyrannical goes, the worse it's going to be. These bleeds come from these forks. So you need to make sure these forks are dead immediately. Otherwise, the healing requirement is going to be a little bit too hard to get past. And make sure you're using defensives when you have that debuff on you. Again, it is a bleed. You can remove it with various bleed removals. So, Dwarf Racial, Kyrian File, Bops, all that good stuff. So, once Cobblestone is dead, you are all sweet. Karazhan is just when it spawns more ads, if you're wondering what that was. But that's pretty much the fight. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy, just kill in order, and then make sure you're using the interrupts and getting your defenses when you need to. So that is the Beauty and the Beast boss. Now, the next boss we're going to talk about is Westfall Story. So Westfall Story here is, I think I covered this in my Lower Karazhan video, which you can find in my channel, and I will link at the end of the video. Now, you've got these two sets of bosses here. So you've got the Gang Ruffians plus Tony, and then you've got also the Murlocs on the other side. Now, Tony will periodically do a massive AoE called Burning Leg Sweep, which you need to move out of, very simple. And then it will also do an ability called, kind of like Gale Force. It'll just jump over to players and put a fire tornado on the ground at their location. You want to make sure, obviously, you're dodging that, and you're just moving out of the fire that remains over there. So Dashing Flame Gale, so there it is. The Ruffians will also jump to nearby players, and so to just players in general, and put a debuff on them, which can be removed by monks and priests, and I'm pretty sure paladins as well. So you want to make sure that you've got something like that to remove it, because it does hurt on Tyrannical. Luckily, this specific one is fortified, so it's not too bad. The play here is to make sure you're stunning at least one or two of them to kind of offset the damage, because if they all jump at the same time, it kind of gets a bit rough if they all jump to the same person. So you want to make sure that you're offsetting the damage coming out from the debuff. So over here, you've got these mobs that do Bubble Blast, which is the Tide Speakers. Interrupt the Bubble Blast, otherwise these bubbles from the mob will come and find one of these players. As you can see over here, our Hunter gets hit by it, and also our Warrior dies to one of the abilities here as well, which is not good. As you can see, it starts getting pretty hectic as well, purely because it's storming. But once you kill these mobs, they just stop doing their ability and they start dancing on the ground. So the abilities that you just saw over there as well are Wash Away and Thunder Ritual. As you see, they kind of like go with each other and they stack. So Thunder Ritual is literally quaking. You just don't want to be stacked on anyone else. And then the wave is just dodging the wave. So all you want to do with the wave is just follow a wave. And then you rotate and do a U-turn and follow it back out. So you'll see what I mean once another wave comes out. So what we're doing is we're finding a gap. We're going to move through the gap, and then we're just going to follow one of the waves coming back out. Very simple. Nothing too hard about that. You just want to make sure that, especially during this week, don't get storming into a wave. It won't end well. Okay, so here you're saving your lust for this spot, because then both of them are up, and you're dealing with double the abilities. You're dealing with literally every ability except for the ones that come from the ads. So there's no Bubble Blast, and there's no jumping of the Ruffians to do a debuff, but you will be dealing with Fire Tornadoes, the Leg Sweep, the the lightning, the thunder rituals, and also the waves as well. So and storming. So it's quite a lot of things here, and it's just burn the bosses and try not to get hit by anything. This is very well, as you can see, I get clipped by the wash away. Luckily, I have Purgatory, which saves my life there. But it is it is quite rough on a higher key. These bosses have been nerfed substantially since the start of the the start of the season, so it is a lot easier to deal with nowadays, but they still, require you to be on your toes and not take it for granted, because these bosses are not too easy. Okay, so once both of the bosses die, you're free to go, and you have finished this version of the Opera Hall. So we've got Westfall Story. We've just done Beauty and the Beast and Westfall Story. Sorry. So we're finishing off Tony here, and then our last one will be Wikket, and we'll go along with Wikket in a second. Okay, and the boss is dead. Perfect. Okay, so with Wikket, we have got two bosses here, and they share a health pool. Now, you've got Alfira and Galindra, sorry. Galindra and Alfira. So, all you're looking here is both bosses are going to start casting abilities. Now, there's only one of them that you need to really work on, and the only ability you need to interrupt is Galindra's one, which is Flashy Bolt. Now, Flashy Bolt hits a random person. Now, you don't want to have an ability plus a Flashy Bolt hit a random target, so you want to make sure you have interrupt rotations for Flashy Bolt. Now, Dreary Bolt is the one that Alfira does, and that always hits the tank. So you don't have to worry about that, the tank can just heal it off. It's fine. Now, the assistants will continuously spawn throughout the fight, as you can see. The monkeys on the floor here. Now, they're constantly going to just be chucking and throwing things at random players. Again, like I stated before, adds over boss, as per usual, and every single fight, make sure those ads are dead, because you don't want to get overrun by them. Especially during this specific week, explosives. These ads spawn explosives as well. It gets very bad and out of shape very, very quickly. Now, what you can see here is that we have a bunch of swirls here. Now, there's gonna be a ability that comes out soon, which is called Wondrous Radiance. Now, Defy Gravity is the one that puts the swirls down. Magic Magnificent. Sorry, not Wondrous Radiance. Magic Magnificent. So, usually on the first iteration of this ability, all you need to do here is jump into one of these swirls and you'll go up into the air. If you don't do that, use an immunity when you're on the floor so you can avoid it. It's literally the other side. It's literally the Ardenweald boss and the other side, if you ever played season earlier in Shadowlands. Now, usually in the first iteration of this, there won't be enough swirls for everyone, or some of them will be spawning midway through the cast and they won't actually finish spawning. So my advice is to get the people with immunities. So in our case right now, we have a rogue, a DK, and a hunter. Hunter can turtle, rogue can cloak of shadows, and then a DK can AMS, right? Now, use those people to stay down and let the people that can't immune it to go up. Just in case someone misses out and you end up having a death, you don't want that happening, right? So, unfortunately, our hunter gets hit because our hunter doesn't go up, and the hunter has a seed pod, luckily, so doesn't actually die, which is good. Now, you've obviously seen that massive circle on the ground as well that's aimed at the tank. So here, all you need to make sure you do is just move out of it. That's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to go on there. So, to reiterate, Flashy Bolt needs to be interrupted. Dreary Bolt you can let go, because it only hits the tank. And then the assistants need to die immediately. Otherwise, those throw stuffs will start hitting people really, really hard. Dodge the circles on the ground, and go up on the swirls when Galindra goes into the middle with Magic Magnificent. And make sure you're cleaving as much as you can. Multi-dot, cleave as hard as you possibly can. Make sure the bosses are next to each other all the time, because again, they share a health pool. So doing damage to 2 targets is better than doing it to 1, because you will do better damage. So if you can cleave, make sure you do, especially when the ads are there. And that's pretty much all it is, and all you need to know, guys. It is very. These bosses are very. They are pretty rough. There is a lot going on. I'd probably say the Westfall Story one is the hardest. I would say this one's pretty self-explanatory. The Westfall Story one is just a lot of dodging, and one misstep can end up killing the entire, or can end up killing you straight away. This one is just making sure you time the jump properly and going up in the air. And then Beauty and the Beast is again just interrupts on the right mobs and killing the right bosses in the right order. That's about it. If you have any questions or you want extra videos on certain bosses or instances during Season 4 of Shadowlands, please let me know. At the moment, I do have every single dungeon that is available in Shadowlands Season 4 up on the YouTube channel, so like and subscribe if you like the content. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next video once I come up with something. Peace out, stay safe, and thank you for watching.